Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Adrian with another release for Avo. We're releasing 3.7.0 today, and guess what? We have a ton of things to talk about, so let's just jump into it. So starting bottom up, but the most bottom kind of thing here is the most important one. We have the contributors. So I want to thank all the contributors. So Dimitri, Christoph, Antonio, and of course Paul and Gabriel. Thank you so much for your contributions and making Avo just a little bit better with each commit. So thank you for that. So going up a little bit, there's performance. So we memoized a few things, so the performance should be a little bit better, especially on those resource index pages where you have like a lot of index fields. Next, tweaks and money field preparations. We'll talk about that on the top. Don't affect unspecified options in Boolean group. Yeah, so we had a warning before. We reverted this warning that the Boolean group would just override whatever was in that field. So if you had other things like some value, this would disappear because we just override everything. But Christoph was wonderful enough to just make that not be valid anymore. So basically now it will not override that field, but only change those options that you provided in the field. Next, maintenance. Performance tweak on Boolean group field and select field. That's just about it. Updating some dependencies, add record link to gem file. We'll talk about that. And prepare for record link. We'll talk about that. Okay, so going to the back fixes, that wasn't so bad. Fix preserve page when go back from resource show page. Thank you, Dimitri. So it's actually preserving the page number. So if you had a has many, so basically this is a project and it has many users. If you'd go to the second page and then click one record, when you go back, the users actually wouldn't like here it doesn't know to go back to the second page, so now it does. So thank you, Dimitri, for that fix. Next, add missing migration. This is something that I forgot to add. Thank you, Christoph, for that. Render text area new lines. It's exactly that. It didn't really work, but now it does. Action text support for tricks field. So we kind of supported it, but not fully because it didn't support active storage with action text. You can do it with a plain database field, but whatever. Now it has better support for that. Leaky global default URL option. Yeah, this was a weird edge case. It wasn't really weird. It was just a stupid edge case. So you can use the default URL options to append other params if you have them. Think about this like something as locale or like a special, maybe multi-tenancy thing. So it would have some weird side effects, and actually now it doesn't. So it's all better. If you experience that, then this is fixed. Actions layout. This applies the same thing, like removing the whole layout, using actually a blank layout for that time when you're rendering an action through a turbo frame, so it's better performance. Detach action record. Yeah, so the record variable on detach method is actually the parent record. So it's about the authorization feature. The record was the parent record instead of the detached record. So now it's just index header rows visibility. Yep. So this fixes this issue, which is actually an edge case, which, how can I put it? Whatever, we fixed it, but it's not something that we should have fixed. So basically you would have something like a field, and the visible would be true or false based on something in the record, right? But this would render the table, where is it? Would render the tables without one cell. And it would just collapse everything, because one cell was missing. I think the proper fix maybe here is just render it nil, so it will show like a dash, and then this will not be collapsed. But we also refactored a few things in the resource index table, so now It's just a little bit code as well. What else? Disable editing values for key value field. Again, we had an edge case here, so if you experience that with disabled and editing keys, now that should be fixed. Bad animation for menu on reload. Yes, we actually did added an animation. Let me see if it's here. Yes, it should be here. Animation. Maybe a transition, whatever. So we added an animation and it had like a weird edge case on reload. This is the fix for that bug that I introduced. Check proper deal for internal controllers override. Yes, again on there was another edge case. Now it's fixed with the generators. No worries there. Eager load actions. This was a big pain point for us, and I think for some of you as well. So the problem was that we weren't eager loading the action. So if you were to just go on an action page like this one without reloading, without loading the index view first, so basically eager load, so basically loading into memory that action, you just see an error here. But now not anymore, so it's eager loaded, so it's all gonna be good. Actions eager load, again, same thing, probably it's related. Render background context. Okay, so this is a cool thing. Because we are using turbo frames to render this action, when we did this action right here, we basically loaded only the action content. But if you want to do something like this, like opening a new tab, you can load the action, but before the background, actually, is this the, yep. But the background wasn't rendered, and that was by design because we only need this thing, right? But if you want to give somebody this URL and say, okay, just go and do this action, after they run that action, there's nothing left behind. So we made it so that the background is loaded as well if it's not a turbo frame. So it's performant when you load it as a turbo frame, and it's very extendable. It's actually like very usable when it's not a turbo frame. So that's just perfect. It's just peachy. This is a build fix, cache table rows. Again, this is about that, what is it, index header and row visibility. We did this refactor and then we figured out there were a couple of bugs and we fixed them. Resource control spacing issue. Yep, this was a, yeah, so whenever you would remove the, what do you call it, the record selector, it would show up weird like this, and now we made it to show up a little bit better. Check it, action text, rich text is defined. Again, this is something related to the action text support for tricks field. Okay, we're done with the bug fixes. Let's go on to the features. Enable Boolean group computed options. Thank you, Christoph, for that. So inspired by the implementation of the select box. So I have no idea what's happening under the hood. No, it's all good. So basically what happens is, so if you have some options in the Boolean group, like here, these used to be hard-coded, so just static, but now you can do a block and you can do something with the record or the resource or params or record or whatever you want to put in there, so you can do that. So thank you, Christoph, for this PR. Resource controls dynamic width. So this is actually quite simple. So what would happen before was, if you were to delete one of this, now the rest of the content does not collapse on itself because we have these right here. But what would actually happen before would just go and collapse. It would not collapse. So basically, if you had authorization rules where nothing was added, or maybe just a delete button was present, you would end up with a lot of space, and now everything will collapse back down to the edge of the button. Everything is just so much better spaced like that. Full width views when sidebar is present. Yes, this is a cool one. So what would happen was, where if you had a sidebar, then so what we do in if you noticed in the like edit views and on the show views, we don't let the full content of this to go all the way to the end, because it's just not pretty and it's not a very nice use of space. So we just add some blank space at the end. And then if you use a sidebar, this here, if you use a sidebar, then all that white space should just disappear. But what would happen was that there still was a little bit of white space, but that was, again, we don't need that right now. So we made it so that it will just collapse to the end of the row. So now if you have a sidebar, instead of displaying this white empty space here, we just let the field just fill the whole row. And that's just a better experience. Autofocus first field in action, exactly what it says. If you have an action with a field, it should just autofocus it, so you can just go and write in that field. For attribute, this is cool, this is big. Well, I wanted this for a while now, because again, we wanted it for a while, because when we first thought about Avo, we didn't think about all the edge cases, of course, but now this is super cool. So if you ever had any issues with two fields on the same resource that had the same ID, like reviews and reviews, try to think about this is also reviews, then you know this pain. Maybe you use this on the show view, and then you use this on the index view, and then there were some issues that the show view and then the forms, and the forms one wouldn't get picked up properly, and there were like so many edge cases, so many problems, just because the ID was the same one, right? If you ever had this issue, now you can use the for attribute option, where you can say, okay, this one is actually called reviews, this one is called special reviews, right? And it's for the attribute of reviews. Does that make sense? So reviews would be like here, but now you can do it like this. So now you don't have all those edge cases. So again, I don't want to go too much into it. There we have documentation for that. But if you ever had this issue, now this is how you fix it. So thank you, Paul, for adding that. Configurable default pagination. So we heard you that if you have like a lot of, have many records in a table, pagination would be a performance bottleneck. And that's something that everybody knows. It's not an Avo thing, it's a database thing or whatever. And we added countless pagination, so now you can configure your whole Avo app to use countless pagination. So yeah, thanks, Paul, and thank you, Poggy, for implementing this feature. Linkable association titles. This is something that I wanted, and probably some of you guys as well. I don't know. It's still in beta, so what happens is you have associations like memberships. Now you can click on it, and it'll open a new page on it. So you can see this association in its own page instead of mishmashing inside here. So you can do that as well. I think on the has one. I don't know. This is still in beta. I haven't had all the time to finish it, but use it and tell me what you think about it. Next, access to result data in chart options. This is exactly it. So there was this Discord chat about it, so you can do that. Callable chartkick options. Again, this is related, so you can use the chart options to, instead of using static basically options, you can use blocks instead. Cool. And the two big kahunas are the record link and money field. This should be pretty cool. Like the record link is a little bit straightforward. You just have to give it a record, and it will try to figure out what kind of resource it is, and it will create a link to it. So basically, think about this like, I'm going to go into projects, and actually in teams, maybe I have this. Yes. So you see the admin of a team is actually belongs to. So Avo knows, because it's a belongs to create a nice link and show the title of that record. So it's the name actually. And it will, when you click on it, you're getting redirected to that page. But maybe you're trying to use some records that are not belongs to. So like this, like def post, and you just find the post somehow, and you just use that field post, so this attribute, as a record link, and it will create a link to that and figure out what the title is and all that niceties around it. So this is a cool one. We're taking a new approach when adding new fields. We are creating new gems for them. We'll figure out how this goes. So you have to add this gem before trying to. So again, we'll figure this whole thing out. And the second field is the money field. Just open it in a new tab. So the money field, again, you have to add a new gem. So I have a money field, and then you have to add the money rails gem as well, because it works with that field. The documentation is still work in progress, but you declare it like this. This is mostly what you need, and it will add a nice money, numeric field where you can add, commas and separators, and then the currencies that you want to use, and they will be just nicely displayed. So let's see, where do we have products? Here, products. So you see, let's do the table view, and this is Soles from Peru. This is Romanian leu, and if I go in here and just change it to USD and say 10.5 or whatever, it'll say dollar and then 10.50. So it actually knows how to localize everything for you. So again, it's still in beta, so we want to see how you use it. So I think this is it for the release notes. I hope we were quick about it. Next up, we went to Balkan Ruby. It was great. It was a very beautiful and authentic experience. The whole team was there. We posted photos and everything. We had some conversations about the future, and we had a tiny hackathon, and we worked on a few cool things that we wanna show you really soon. So again, buy a ticket. They announced the next edition, April 25th and 26th, in Sofia in Bulgaria. So it's gonna be great. I already got my ticket. So yep, looking forward to see you all there next year. Speaking of features that we worked on during the hackathon, so Gabriel has been working a little bit on support for alternative IDs. It's using hash IDs, but not only the hash IDs, like a friendly ID for prefixed IDs, for whatever else you can think of. So Avro already supports using special IDs. Let me see if I can find one in the URL. So like this, you see this is a friendly ID, and then you can use this one. So it's Eric Bay, so it figured it out from the name. But we want to do it in such a way that it's also obfuscated. So right now, I think somewhere around here in the form or something. So you see record ID. Basically, we do use the IDs somewhere, so they are being shown. So what we want to do is remove that and obfuscate it all throughout to the end. So again, this is going to be a security increase. So Gabriel is working on that. Otherwise, Gabriel has been working on something else. Dashboard. The dashboard wide ranges. So basically, this is something that Mixpanel has. A lot of you have asked for that. So whenever you're on a dashboard, right now we have ranges that you can change for one card, but maybe you want to have some filters that are global for the whole dashboard. So this is something that, again, Gabriel has been working on. His has started during our Balkan Ruby retreat. And Alex has been working on a cool thing. He's not a member of the team. I mean, he's a member of that. He's a co-host of Friendly.rb. He's a very good friend of ours, and has been working on a cool little feature called the calendar view. So let's see it. So basically, you will be able to display your records in a calendar view. And that's just amazing. I cannot wait to see it launched. It's still gonna be in beta. There are so many things. It looks like, oh, calendar, it's okay. Just ping, you just render a calendar and then render the next and previous months and then just throw some records on there. But it's not that. It has so many edge cases and so many things we have to take care of. Now, if you want like multiple dates, if you want to move, if you want to edit. So at first, it's just going to be like a single date and just read only. So we'll iterate on that later as we get some more feedback on it. But I'm very excited to see this out there. Next up, Paul has been working on something that I know everybody's waiting for. I wanted to, and I know everybody's waiting for that. Configurable dynamic filters. Again, configurable dynamic filter. So imagine this: you're somewhere on a resource and you have some filters, of course. Okay, so you say for the first name or the last name field, you say, I want them to be filterable. Okay, perfect, no problem. It's going to be here, first name, and then it's going to be last name. So it's, you can do whatever you want. But then you think about, maybe I just want the name filter, right? Or I want something totally different, but I still want to use this kind of UI, this whole thing that looks beautiful. And now you can do, actually not now, but it will be launched soon. So now we're introducing this self-dynamic filters property, where you just give it some filters, an array, and then this object is what configures the filter. So you'll be able to configure the label, the conditions. So again, let's check it out on that how. So the label, this would be the label, the conditions, what else? The type, the icon. So the icon, the type is, so for example, this is a string one, and this would be a Boolean one. So you'll be able to reuse these filters yourself. And then the actual query, which is the most important thing. So you'll be able to, you'll get like the active record query, and then you'll be able to add things on it. You can add conditions and other parameters that will update this query. So again, there's a video here on how that's being done. So again, it will look just the same, but it will be fully configurable. So basically, you'll be able to do things like filterable true. You'll continue to be able to do that, but also self-dynamic filters, and then give it a filters, and then give it an array, and then give it an object. And what will happen is, and I need your feedback, we need your feedback on this. What will happen would be all of these will be displayed, and then these will be appended. Then you could use, at some point we want to do this, take this object. So I'm going to go into the PR. So this object right here is what's going to fill that. So hop, and I probably need another one. So this is the configuration hash. So imagine this could be extracted somewhere else, and you can say something like, I don't know, text filter name, whatever, up, whatever condition. You can extract this, and this method here would actually output this whole hash. So again, you can abstract this whole, you can take this whole abstraction layer further. And then, of course, you, at one point, this is not something that you can do right now, but at one point, we want to do something like, okay, filterable, and I want to configure it. I really want to configure it. And maybe I just want to change the name, the label, right? I just want to change the label, and everything else should just stay the same, and you'll be able to do that. Or maybe just change the query or name or whatever you want. You will be able to do that at some point. And then, of course, we have the question of what if I want to reorder them? Okay, if you want to reorder them, you just take full control and take all the filterable off, and then you just do this here. Field 1, field 2, right? Field and field 1, and then field 2, whatever. But maybe you want to reorder them and still be able to use the filterable true. Well, then you'll be able to do something like, I don't know how the API is going to look like in the end, but filterable field, and just say name or something like that. And that would be the equivalent of throwing a filterable true here. So this or this. So again, it's going to give you all that power to be able to build your own filtering story for your users. Yeah, so it's coming soon. So don't worry about that. Yeah, so I'm very excited for this. So thank you so much, Paul, for all your work on this. It's going to be just awesome. Me, I've been a little bit unavailable in the development area, as you might have seen in the past 2 or 3 months. I've been traveling a little bit, but I do want to get my hands dirty and I want to build a few things. So I started with just a few things that I wanted to have in Avo, and one of them is profile and cover photos. So again, we've all seen cover photos and profile photos. So you'll be able to add yours to your records. It's going to be configurable. I don't think I have the API at hand right now. So let's see. I think the event resource. Yes, you'll be able to say something cover photo and say what's the source for that, and then the size, and then profile photo. So again, this will be really cool to configure, and it will be able to use regular strings or active storage or your own fields or your model attributes, methods, whatever you want. So again, that whole Avo story, how you're used to do this. Again, this is not something super critical, but I wanted to have it, and I'm sure a lot of you guys want to have it because I've seen it in some of your apps. You're hacking it with a resource, with a custom resource tool or something, and I just wanted to have it for everyone. Yeah, so this has been this is another of those features that I thought like, okay, it's just going to be like 2 hours of work, and I'm going to be done with it, and that's it. And then it proved to be like, oh, I've been working a few days on this because I want the API to be good. I wanted to support a lot of like all the mobile things and just look pretty. And I've there are quite a few challenges here. Like as you can see, this old screenshot has like 2 of these titles because there are a few challenges in the design area. So again, this is something that I want to have out as soon as possible. Next, I've been working on the next iteration of the dynamic fields. So the dynamic fields would be something like you go into a form and you click manager, and then you have a new field here or whatever. This one disappears or adds a help text, or it becomes required, or it's like the reviews, I think. The reviews have it. No, not the reviews, the courses. The courses have it. So it's kind of like this here, like you have cities from Spain, but if you change to USA, you'll have cities from USA, change to Thailand, and you get the point. So something like this, but this uses stimulus.js, so you can still use it. So we have a tutorial about how to do this, so there's no problem there. But I want this to be a first party feature. So the API isn't quite there yet. We have been doing a bit of a brainstorming session when we were in Bulgaria with the guys, and we figured out, hey, the first API was not really perfect for some use cases. We think this is a little bit better. It's not perfect for all cases. Of course, there are so many use cases, there are so many ways of building apps, but it's a very sweet spot. So we want to make this as easy as the rest of the Avo DSL. And just say, okay, this field should change because of that field did this, and very, very nice. So again, this is something that I have been working on. And another thing that I've been working on is the audit logs feature, the audit logging feature, which will be an enterprise package feature. So again, it says starting at 10,000, give us a call, we'll figure things out, we'll figure out what you need. But it's going to be such a cool thing. So we are going to use audited and paper trail packages for gems for the record auditing part. But there are so many things that we can do inside Avo. So many things that those gems are not covering. Like I don't want to give out too many things, but like detaching things, detaching records and stuff. These things are not really, and some more other things that are not really covered by those gems. Like running actions, applying filters, who has seen which record, so you'll be able to keep a track of that as well. So there are so many things that it's going to improve Avo so much. So it'll give you a lot of visibility into what is happening inside your app, what your users are doing inside Avo app. That's the big gist about what we are working on next. We do have one more big update. It's Avo being a part of the TinyC24 batch. This is just great. We cannot think of a better crew to align ourselves with. So we weren't looking for funding. We weren't looking for, for that VC venture capital dream to, just raise and grow and at all costs. And this is not what we want. We want to grow a nice, sustainable, honest business. And we cannot think of a better group of people to align ourselves with. So Tiny Seed, if you don't know what they are, is an accelerator program and an investment fund which helps bootstrap companies essentially to grow sustainable, profitable businesses. So it's not about getting to become a unicorn in 3 years or whatever at all costs, and then you'll figure out how to remove the free tier and whatever else is happening right now in all that VC backed world. It's about growing sustainable businesses for the business owners, for the employees, and for the community that is using those tools. So we wrote a few words about this. We are super excited. We're more excited than the few words that we said here, but we are more excited about let's just do the work and we'll figure the other things later. So again, this is the big news. We're very happy about this. Go read this on our blog. You can see the Tiny Seed official announcement, the video, and everything else. So the next year is going to be very cool for Avo. Wow, I don't know how much it's been, but it's been a long video. It's been great talking to you guys. Avo 3.7 it's an awesome release. We have a few things in our pipeline that it's gonna make it a little bit more awesome and hopefully more valuable to you guys to build apps for your customers. And I cannot wait to see you on the next live events. I'm not going to attend too many. I think in the fall, I'll be at more events in the fall. But if you're ever in Bucharest, just give me a call. I would love to catch up with you. And don't forget, friendly. Don't forget, Friendly RB is still happening. We sold probably half of the tickets, maybe a little bit more. We have this cool 4 speakers announced: Rosa Gutierrez, Nabila Yusuf, Stephen Markheim, and Tom Rossi. And we have another cool one, which we will announce, I think, next week or something. I'm sure you're gonna love it. I think you've never seen him speaking at a conference. You've probably seen him at a few conferences, but not as many. And you definitely know him from his open source work. So it's gonna be awesome. I cannot wait to tell you who it is. But make sure you still get tickets. I don't there are still some tickets available. But anyways, forget about it. I would love to see you. Thank you so much for being an awesome community member. Thank you for using Avo and for trusting it. Thank you for your feedback and of course your contributions. And yeah, I'll talk to you on the channels. Thank you guys. See ya. Bye.